Everyone knows the name Leonardo da Vinci because of some of his famous works like the Mona Lisa or the Last Supper, but there is so much more to this acclaimed man than meets the eye. He was born out of wedlock to Ser Piero, a local notary, and a peasant girl on April 15, 1452, in Arciero, Italy, in now present-day Italy. Leonardo lived with his father and stepmother until age 15, when he was apprenticed to Arciero de Verrocchio, a well-known artist of his own right. Leonardo was a part of a multi-stage apprenticeship. He studied many arts, including painting, metalworking, carpentry, drawing, and historical culture, most of which he utilized in his future works. He became quite adept under the tutoring of Andrea del Verrocchio. Verrocchio was a well-known and renowned artist who taught Leonardo everything he knew. At the age of 20, Leonardo was offered a membership as a master artist in Vinci. However, he decided to keep collaborating with his master until age 25. In 1478, after Leonardo left Verrocchio's workshop, he received his first commission. It was to paint an altarpiece, but he left the city of Florence without completing the project. 4 years later, in 1482, Leonardo da Vinci went to live in Milan to work for the local duke. This was unusual for an inexperienced painter, especially one who had just received his first commission to his local city, Florence. Leonardo was known officially as painter and engineer of the duke, and he also consulted frequently for the court of Milan. He completed 6 paintings in the 17 years, including the Virgin at the Rocks and the Last Supper. He was also commissioned for a sculpture of Francesco Sforza. This sculpture was supposed to be 16 feet tall, and while the mold was made, under threat of war, the bronze that would have been used for the sculpture was used instead for cannons. Leonardo spent 17 years of his life in Milan, leaving only when the Duke Ludovico fell from power in 1499. In either late 1499 or early 1500, upon returning to Florence, Leonardo da Vinci was appointed architectural expert for a committee investigating damages to the San Francisco al Monte. Leonardo left Florence to enter into service of Caesar Borgia, commander-in-chief of the Papal Army, as senior military architect and general engineer. Leonardo's sketches of city plans and topological maps are early examples of modern cartography. Leonardo also spent a year during this time learning about canals and waterways. These studies came into fruition in a plan for an express waterway to Florence that Leonardo devised. But sadly, the project only began after Leonardo was dead. Following his aquatic endeavors, he was commissioned to paint a mural for the Florence town hall. The Second Florentine period was also a time of medical research for Leonardo. He performed many dissections and eventually was able to map out much of the human body. His knowledge was very influential on future medical developments. From an early age, Leonardo da Vinci can be seen with extraordinary talent. His ability to express emotion in a painting can be seen in his contribution to his master's painting, Baptism of Christ, in the form of an angel Leonardo painted. Benoy Madonna, created in 1475, is a depiction of Mary and Christ as an infant. Around this time, Leonardo made many sketches and drawings of the Virgin Mary. While a lesser-known painting, Benoy Madonna captures the ability to express emotion on his painting. Virgin of the Rocks, a more famous work of Da Vinci, pioneers 2 artistic styles, chiaroscuro and sfumato. Chiaroscuro is the effect of having a major light and dark contrast in a painting, while sfumato is the technique of letting colors and shades blend together gradually. The brilliance of Leonardo can be seen in all his works, but his knowledge of human anatomy can be seen in the Vitruvian Man and St. Jerome, though an unfinished piece of work. The Mona Lisa, also known as La Gioconda, is debatably Leonardo's most famous painting. It is this famous smile that is so well known, and Leonardo's amazing ability to capture emotion.
Sponsored by King Louis XII, Leonardo da Vinci lived in Milan for a second time from 1508 to 1513. As a painter, Leonardo created very little. However, Leonardo did gather pupils around him. Francesco Milesi was one of these men. During these years, Leonardo focused on his study of the sciences. In 1513, when the French were expelled from Milan, Leonardo left with his student Francesco Melizzi.
In 1513, Leonardo was forced to leave Milan. From here, he headed to Rome. In 1516, Leonardo worked under the king. He was given the title of first painter, architect, and engineer to the king. Leonardo da Vinci died at the age of 67 on May 2, 1519. Although Leonardo is best known as a painter, only 17 of his works are actually attributed to him. He left his inheritance to his assistant, Melzi, who traveled with him since leaving Milan. One of Da Vinci's most famous paintings, the Mona Lisa, was left to his assistant, Celine, an artist and people who studied under him. He was, as we have discussed, Leonardo was famous for many things. Some of his most notable works included the Vitruvian Man, Lady with an Ermine, and his red chalk self-portrait. Leonardo was a very important man who greatly influenced the arts in our modern-day culture. Leonardo's last words were those of man successful to all but his own. I have offended God and mankind. My work did not reach the quality it should have.